What up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Cameron, your boy from Ozone Baby, back again, and we're talking music. Shockingly, the thing that I'm always talking to you guys about. And this time we're talking about my favorite albums of 2021, specifically my favorite country, jazz, and electronic albums of 2021. Now you may stupidly ask, Cameron, I see you have a rock list, a metal list, a pop list, and a hip-hop/rap list. Why are these three seemingly unrelated genres all mashed together into one video? Just because honestly, there's not a lot of great country records that come out every year, and I do not listen to a whole lot of jazz records. I'm pretty focused on the things that are original jazz. You do get a lot of jazz records where, great jazz bands are doing great jazz standards, that kind of thing. I don't feel like they really have a place on lists like this, especially nowadays. And then the electronic records were just a natural fit to kind of buff out this list. So you get some great genres of music, and you should listen to all of them because in every single genre of music, there's greatness. And I even thought once in my life when that SoundCloud rap stuff started, I was like, you know what? I don't think that they'll ever make a good SoundCloud rap song. And you know what? Ski Mask the Slump God came along and did it. So I was proved wrong and simultaneously proved right about my hypothesis that there is great music in every single genre. And I'm going to tell you about some of that music today, specifically in the genres of country, and then jazz, and then electronics. So let's get into it. Let's talk some country. All right, so first we are starting off on a bit of a sad note. This was in my rock list as well because I would consider it a country rock record. But we are starting off with a bit of a sad note, so don't click away right away. Just power through this one with me. This one is JT by Steve, Earl, and the Dukes. And this was the first great record to come out in 2021. It came out on January 4th, 2021. Now this is a recording by Steve, Earl, and the Dukes, all of covers of his son, Justintown Earl's songs. There is one original at the end though, which I will talk about. The record is, like I said, sad, but also still somewhat joyful because these are covers of songs. The story of this record is that Steve Earl's son, Justintown Earl, JT Earl, died of a fentanyl-laced cocaine overdose in his Nashville apartment right after a phone call making up with his sometimes estranged father, Steve. So I'm going to read this here. This is regarding his motivation to make JT this album of cover songs of his son's songs. Steve wrote in the liner notes of the record here, "For better or worse, right or wrong, I love Justintown Earl more than anything else on this earth. That being said, I made this record like every other record I've ever made. For me. It was the only way I knew to say goodbye." So again, all the songs except the closer are covers of JT's tunes. The closer, Last Words, is the only original here written by Steve, and it recounts the final phone call that him and his son had where they were kind of making amends. The chorus of the song has their last words to each other, "I love you," and "I love you too." Sometimes beautiful art does come out of tragedy and does come out of sadness, and I think this is absolutely a case of that. So I implore you to listen to this record. It's country, it's rock, it's bluegrass, and it's all fantastic. Steve Earl doing covers of his son's songs on his record, JT. All right, for our second and our last great country album of 2021. That's so sad. So few good country albums coming out in 2021. I understand because touring is really the only place you're getting actual real revenue if you're not like a bro pop country artist, which, by the way, let's be honest, pop country, a great quote from Steve Earl himself, actually. Pop country is just pop music for people who are scared of black people, which is absolutely true if you listen to Florida Georgia Line with all their fucking 808s and shit in there. But I'll get off my high horse about that, and we'll talk about some true country. This is Bellamy Brothers with covers from the Brothers. Now, if you don't know Bellamy Brothers, they are basically this confluence of Florida, weed, and redneck country music. Does that blissed out, sunny redneck vibe still translate over on a covers album? Somehow, yes, it absolutely does. The only real criticism I could absolutely levy at this great collection of 12 country covers is that it's a very, very little overproduced for my liking. But if you're a modern pop country fan, that might actually intrigue you a little bit more to this if you're scared of the rootsiness of real country. So give this record a listen. The songs that they pick as well, they span the country gamut. Really, really great picks. Super well done with their, blissed out, sunny, rednecky vibe coming across in all of these songs. It's a blast and they crush it. Great job, Bellamy Brothers. All right, country's out of the way, and we have jazz now, and there's just one jazz record this year, and I want to implore you to listen to it. This is Sons of Kemet with Black to the Future. This is Afro jazz that is so Afro. The word Afro doesn't even do it justice. This is refined and intricate and detailed without losing any energy or output or just insane momentum. Seriously, the impact of this thing in jazz scenes has been huge, and this is a jazz record to turn heads. This isn't some fantastic renditions of classic jazz tunes or updates or anything like that. This is all original jazz that is really like kind of neck snapping. It's so pumped up. Yes, as far as jazz goes, this record is the new, and it is absolutely vital. And by the way, if the term Afro jazz scared you off at the beginning, just think of it as a jazz version of like Paul Simon's Graceland, which is also a great, it's a great levied compliment as well. Check this thing out. I can't say its praises enough. It's fantastic. All right, and last but not least, we're talking about the electronic records I loved from 2021, and we've got 7 of them. First thing I want to shout out is the new Flamingosis. Daymaker. Great project here. This is one of my older brother's favorite musical projects, Flamingosis here. And this very well may be my favorite Flamingosis record yet. It's a little subdued actually for Flamingosis, and there's a lot of variety here, which I think really, really helps. This is a great record to be listened to anywhere. There's such fun and detail in these songs, and you can listen to it in the car, you can listen to it on your morning coffee run, you can listen to it in the club, you can listen to it while you're doing chores. It is just fun headphone music or speaker music, and really, really well done electronic music that doesn't sound too... I mean, if you think electronic music is techno still at this point, I don't know what to do to help you. Go back to 92. All right, next we're shouting out again the new Gorillaz EP, the Meanwhile EP. Again, hot take, but I was not a big fan of Song Machine. Nothing that really spoke to me, but this little 3-track EP slid right in there, and all 3 of the songs are awesome. It does lean a bit more into Gorillaz hip-hop leanings, but I think it's all the better for that. We've got 3 really tight, really compact tracks that are, of course, electronic in nature, and just a really compact crop of tracks. All right, next we have Vega with Mutator. This is, of course, a record by the posthumous Suicide frontman, and it's exactly what you would expect from him. These really loose and sparse synth textures that almost verge on rockabilly somehow. If you know Suicide, if you know Vega, you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, check it out. I do actually think this is quite a good spot to get into Vega's work. The singing is, of course, subdued and a little frantic and almost borders on spoken word. All of these songs were recorded between 95 and 97, so true posthumous record here, but a lot of the songs you haven't heard on here, I would think actually every song. But Nike Soldier is an amazing highlight on here. Check that one out if you're thinking maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. You should. All right, here it is. We have FM Skyline with Illuminations. Last year it was Runners Club 95 with No Sugar Added, but this year it is FM Skyline getting the award for Best Vaporwave Record. That's a very prestigious award coming from me. The big highlight here is the way the progressions of these songs come together. It really takes you on a journey from the beginning to the end of the record, and it is a record. The genre could really use more of this type of thing. And these songs here, they are songs. They are not just motifs that are splayed out to 6 minutes long. They are real songs with real progressions. The synth patches here have to be shouted out. They're very nostalgic without sounding dated. Very, very musical sounds here, not just textural ones. Fantastic record. Best Vaporwave record of the year. Hats off to FM Skyline with Illuminations. All right, next we have Sun Kill Moon with Lunch in the Park. Only one record for Mr. Kozlik that I've got on the lists here this year. You're welcome. I don't know where else to put this record, but the instrumentation is mainly synths and pads, so I'm putting it in the electronic section. I hope that it doesn't lose the audience that would enjoy it by being here, but I really don't think it will, because, I mean, Mark Kozlik and Sun Kill Moon is so productive and so prolific, and he's done this style before, so I think that it's not a stretch to put him in the electronic category with something this electronic. So on Lunch in the Park, we get very quintessential Kozlik thoughts and diatribes and ramblings on his thoughts on COVID and other current events and how his life has been going for the most recent patch of time that this record was made over. Again, not many guitars here at all, mostly synths and pads. Now the songs are not like structured songs the way they are on something like Benji, but they're also not something as inaccessible as literally reading diary entries over piano instrumentals, like on something like All the Best, Isaac Hayes. This is a comfortable middle ground between those two more extremes for Kozlik here. So these songs are about concrete and specific things, but of course, again, it's Sun Kill Moon, so there's tons of metaphor here and lots of thematic threads going through the songs. A record that I would recommend to literally everybody. It's spellbinding. It's Sun Kill Moon. You gotta listen. All right, next we have Arca with Madre. This is an extremely sparse and actually accessible opera EP. Put it in the electronic category because Arca usually makes electronic music. You gotta give me a little bit of a break here with where to put something like this. I'm not gonna do a fucking opera category. Although I wasn't into any of the Kick records fully, this EP is amazing. Now this is technically one song done 4 different ways, but it is so much more than just that. So the first track, that's the full instrumentation and vocals and all of that stuff. The second one is just the violo instrumentation, and the third is just a cappella, just the singing, and the fourth is just the violo. So they are all spellbinding in their own right. You gotta check this thing out, especially if you're not an opera listener. I'm not a huge opera listener. I do dabble, because of course I dabble in absolutely everything. But this is, if you have never listened to opera, which is the case for the vast majority of people, let's be honest, this is very accessible in that genre. Gotta check it out. All right, and last but not least, we have Lump with Animal. Lump is a collaboration project between Laura Marling, who is a fantastic current folk artist, and Mike Lindsay, who basically invented the folktronica genre with his band Tongue. Now, I loved Lump's first record in 2018, so I was very much looking forward to this. And although admittedly this record does start a bit slow, the progression is fantastic, and it actually gets pretty rocking for a folktronica, indie-tronica record here. Really, really well done. The performances are fantastic. It is low-key, and it's super, super pretty. This is a great Lump record. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We had some country, we had a little bit of jazz, and we had some electronic music for you. Please, check out all these genres and check out all the other lists from 2021. I do this, and I listen to everything here for you. Even an opera EP that, I'm serious, kicks ass. You gotta listen to that thing. But ladies and gentlemen, I love doing this. I'm so happy that you're watching this video, and I'm so happy that you're gonna tell me about which of these records you missed, and now you get to hear and you're like, oh, thanks for bringing amazing music into my life. You're gonna tell me about them in the comments. For the people that know me, don't just text me. Put it in the comments, please. It helps with all the searching and all that kind of stuff. So, check out all these records. Also, tell me if you're like, hey, you missed this Luke Bryan country record. And I'll tell you, it should have gone in pop if it was any good, and it's not, so sorry. But, you missed this jazz record, I'm open to hearing that. You missed this opera record, I definitely want to hear about that. So put it all down in the comments, and hey, you're welcome. You're welcome for checking out all this music and delivering you only the gems. Papa wouldn't give you anything that's not a gem, baby. Cameron from Ozone, baby. We've got country, we've got jazz, we've got electronic, and now you've got some great music to listen to from the previous year, 2021. I love you all. Good night.